Until next time.
You should I could do with a mug of ale right about now. What do you want?
You don't belong here.
You know, you ain't the first stranger to come around here. A while back, our scouts saw a Jotun creeping about. Name of Hyrrokin.
Hyrrokin. No doubt she flees the wrath of Suttungr and Gunnlotr. Hers was not a name I expected to hear in this place. Her presence here may be an ill omen. Or it might mean nothing at all.
You Asgardians like to be vague, don't you? Walk with me now. Let's have some straight talk.
One thing puzzles me. You cower in these holes like rabbits. Why not fight back?
We fought at first. Fought hard. But they hit our leaders. Scattered us. Once they divided us, we were done.
Then join together. Raise your axes and throw them off.
That simple, eh? Look, we don't even know where the others are. The shelters were planned so that if one of us was caught, we couldn't give them all away. But you could find them, I'd wager.
My business is with Surtur, and rescuing my son.
You might have noticed that Surtur can't be killed. Could be a problem.
I will find a way. Or else I will seize what he values most and trade it for Baldur's freedom.
Either way, you'll need our aid. You don't know an inch of this land. Listen, Harvey. I understand. This isn't your war. You just want your son back. But those Muspels on our doorstep, they ain't no joke. If they find us, we're dead meat. Thing about Muspels, though, is they love to fight amongst themselves. All that's stopping them is fear of Surtur. Take out their leader, they'll tear themselves apart. Flee back to Muspelheim, most likely.
And Svartalfheim will once again belong to the dwarves.
Dwarves who will be very, very grateful to the one who delivered him. There's more gifts where that bracer came from.
I make you no promise, but I will seek out your shelters. Perhaps there I'll find the means to save Baldur.
Good enough for now. Welcome to Svartalfheim, Harvey. From here, Ragnarök.
No chance!
dark visions oppress me. The warm light of wakefulness is sweet relief. And yet I must see more, wherever the darkness leads me. A message from Volka. If I drink the potion, I can return to my vision. These new visions of Odin trouble me. Am I alone in seeing them? Or do the tales of Svartalfheim hold some other meaning? Perhaps I should warm my bones by the fire. Gather my thoughts for a moment. Tove, how have you been?
The fire made me think of the myths and legends Sven loved.
Would you indulge me with a tale? I would be glad to hear of Svartalfheim.
I would not tell it half as well, but his favorite was a fable, to remind us to find meaning in our deeds and not in how others think of us. Svartalfheim was not short of legendary dwarven blacksmiths. Everyone has heard of Ivaldir, Brukker, and Sindri. But this tale is of a stone mason. He lived as far south as he could, where Gulnamar meets Vangrid. His workshop sat upon the shoreline. Obsessed with glory, his love of masonry had all but died. He scoured the shore, seeking precious stones washed up from other realms. Then he saw it. Something beautiful, glittering, shimmering across the water. Upon an island he had never dared travel to. He hastily built a boat, working long into the night. He set sail and found many rocks that sparkled and dazzled upon the island. He cried out in joy. To craft anything from such stones, he would be remembered for all time. Then he felt a sudden sting on his foot. Then another, and another. His eyes adjusted to the dark. So consumed was he by his desire for renown, he failed to realize he had walked into a nest of snakes, until it was already too late. And so, clutching the stone that sealed his fate, there he died. Remembered, yes, but only for his folly.
A fine tale, Toby, and well told. Sven would be proud. Are you and Bridget well?
Of course. The flames soothe my mind, as do the tales told here.
You have one to share, Gunnar. A legend of Svartalfheim.
Aye, a story of a king who could not see the wood for the trees. Ragnarök, greatest of dwarven kings. Within his palace in Gulnamar, he wanted for nothing except an heir. Ragnarök and his wife had grown old. Perhaps too old. Late one night, consumed with worry, Raidmar walked in the shadow of his vast mountaintop palace, tears in his eyes. The great king! What ails you? A voice said. Afraid, Raidmar saw no one. Who goes there? He replied. Then he saw who addressed him. A vast and ancient tree, perhaps almost as old as Ymir himself. Raidmar sat upon its roots and told the tree he feared he was too old to give his subjects the legacy they deserved. The tree was so moved, it wept and offered its tears to Raidmar. Drink, great king, it said, and your woes shall be washed away. Raidmar observed the grass, the meadows, the leaves of the tree. His subjects' happiness could be seen in how they cared for the land. His legacy was all around him. Raidmar felt at ease, realizing he had everything he needed, and asked that the land receive the tree's gift instead. The tree's happy tears flowed evermore, enriching the land. 9 moons passed, and a baby's cry rang through Raidmar's palace. Long would dwarves place gifts in the weeping tree's roots, in memory of Raidmar and his kindness that shaped all he touched.
All things happen when they should, old friend.
I hope so.
Eivor! Whatever is the matter? Have you been spending too much time drinking Valka's special sauces again?
I am troubled by visions of Odin, of Svartalfheim. They flood my mind without warning, without invitation.
Aha! Which is how Thor flooded Svartalfheim. Thor, fast to act, but not so fast to think, would stomp and thump and fight and bump everywhere he and Mjolnir should go. One day, he fought a giant in Jotunheim with such ferocity that Thor's killing blow was felt through all 9 realms. The ground shook, mountains rose up, hills tore apart, creating canyons, and north of Svaladal, the massive lake that housed the springs of Yggdrasil split open, flooding all of Svartalfheim. The dwarf king, Hreidmar, acted swiftly. He built 3 mighty dams, preventing further damage to his realm, working alongside his beloved subjects. So surprised was one builder to see the great king working as an equal that he slipped, tumbling into the raging waters below. Without hesitation, Hreidmar leapt, once from his horse and again from the center of the dam's lip, diving into the frightful torrent. Before the builder could even cry for help, Hreidmar was pulling him onto dry land. And so 2 giant statues were built to honor the king, one for each leap of unthinking bravery, and stood until the end of days.
Until Ragnarok.
Aye! So you see, actions ripple outward, like a stone falling into a lake. Or like Thor crushing a Jotun skull with Mjolnir.
Affecting everything, whether foretold or unknown.
I fear my tale has only worsened your concerns.
No, a good story is A lock that feeds the mind's flame. Thank you, friend.
I hear you seek tales of Svartalfheim. You are not alone in your glimpses of the Aesir.
You have seen them too.
No. Only the power the visions hold, and their effect on those once held dear.
You speak of Sigurd.
Do you want my tale or not? There was a dwarven miner who cared only for his work. Mining was all he knew, all he wanted to know, and all he would ever know. One day, he heard a strange noise. All his long life, working in the northern mines of Vangrim, he had never known a boulder to squeak. He ignored it at first. As the hours passed, the squeaking continued relentlessly. When the miner could take no more, he split the boulder apart with his pick, and then he saw a squirrel. Until now, pinned by the boulder, afraid and tired, the freed squirrel climbed into the miner's long beard and slept for 3 days. When the dwarf awoke the next day, he found fruit and nuts waiting for him. A gift from the squirrel. The first the miner had ever received. Finally, the miner had a friend. The squirrel led the dwarf to a stone hill within a lake. There, the dwarf could fish for supper, while the squirrel played in the trees. One night, watching his fishing line, the dwarf drifted off to sleep, smiling, enjoying the happy squeaks of his friend above. When the sun rose, its light did not find the dwarf, for he had turned to stone, his short-lived bliss captured evermore.
And the squirrel?
It never left his side, hoping his friend would awaken, just as the miner had waited for the squirrel to do the same.
Sigurd. He's not lost to us. In every great story there is truth to be found. I wonder what could be found in Svartalfheim, the place they spoke of.
Shit! No! No!
Too hot! Oh, you! tradition of Svartalfheim.
We can't lose! Feed the flame! Lead, you imbecile!
Beware of tricks! Meet our
Don't escape, you little fraud!
Split your skull!
Work with me!
We'll plunder here, but I'll need help. We fight!
Rich pickings here.
Help me out here! Hey! Come here a moment!
Some good plundering here!
Come! Help me with this! That's it! Back to the ship!
won't survive, fool!
The shelter must be nearby. I need your eyes, my friend.
Yeah, careful with that!
If Baldur were here, he would surely find wonder in these crystals. He has a child's innocence, my boy. I pray he has. Dwarves have left their mark. He has a child's innocence, my boy. I pray he has it still after all of this. These dwarves, I need them. Though it chafes me to it. The dwarves hide their paths in plain sight. These dwarves, I need them. Though it chafes me to admit it. Be gracious, Harvey. Humble and patient.
Here to lend a hand?
Hungriest dwarf kind. Reduced to this.
Greetings, Harvey. Looking for some work, yes? Breda offers much to choose from. Try not to get yourself killed.
If only King Hreithmar was still alive, he wouldn't be stuck down here.
Oh, good day there! May fortune shine upon you as it has on me.
You're very light of heart, considering the plight of your people.
Oh, it's a tragedy, no doubt. But life's about searching for that glimmer of gold. I'm happier here than I ever was before.
I would welcome a glad tale. There have been few enough of late.
I'm a blacksmith. Good as any man. But you try telling that to them up there. If you don't have hairy forearms and a beard, they'll go somewhere else. Business was bad. No one gave me a chance. Thought a woman's hammer toil was inferior. Those clod-brained dunces. Then, the invasion. We fled to this shelter, and I'm the only smith down here. Are they paying attention now? You bet they are. The finest armor, the sharpest swords. They sing the praises of Elga the Smith now. Just sad so many had to die for them to see it.
Farewell.
Work never ends.
Who goes there? I am Havi, Lord of Asgard.
You're a long way from home. Or the Aesir now invading us as well. Jailer of Ivaldi.
Ha! Ivaldi owes me his freedom. Where is he? I would speak with him.
Be my guest. I assume you know the way to Helheim.
He's dead. How?
How else? Or do you need both eyes to see the muspels everywhere? That was uncalled for. Walk with me. I am Gunborg, leader of this shelter. Or what remains of it now Ivaldi is gone. He was trying to make contact with the other shelters. There was an ambush, Glot soldiers, and something else. Something worse. A creature of fire and fury. It devoured Ivaldi whole.
No doubt bred in Surtur's dungeons. Perhaps with Loki's aid, before I could make him my captive.
You and your captives. Regardless, Uldar fell soon after Ivaldi did. Our mines and miners, any survivors now serve Glot.
Is that name meant to mean anything to me?
Glot is Surtur's bastard son, half Muspel, half Jotun. A nightmarish being, capable of tearing a dwarf in two.
Your people will have vengeance.
No. The people of Uldar are finished.
And yet, blood has not simply slaughtered your people. He needs your miners. To what end?
The invaders hunger for secrets buried deep in the ground. Ancient relics. The Muspels place great importance in them.
And how do you know this?
Enough, Havi. We have suffered enough. Now I must endure all these questions?
Aid me with your knowledge, and I shall strike a blow against Glod and all Muspels.
In Uldar, we had someone gathering information for us. The miner, Frithjofer. He's been silent for days now, which is unlike him. Probably dead for all I know.
Anything sought by the Muspels must be mine. Where was Frithjofer last seen? Perhaps I can find him.
There is a house in Uldar. Its owners killed by Muspels long ago. There we would exchange messages with him.
This house? How do I find it?
It's the tallest house in the Jewelers District by the city's south gate. Just look for the gold in the streets. You'll see.
Frithjofer may be the key to obtaining these relics Surtur seeks. I must find him.
Do as you must, Lord of Asgard. I have too many burdens of my own to worry about yours as well.
Been here all day.
If only King Hreithmar was still alive, we wouldn't be stuck down here.
Looking good.
Here comes another one. No, don't worry. I'll be careful this time. Yes, no need to remind me. Oh, it was only a little blood.
Who are you talking to?
Shh, shh, shh. He can hear us. I'm speaking to no one, good sir. Take a seat. Let me get my needles and blades. You found a new design for me.
I would like to see what you have in stock.
Anything else?
What have you got for me today?
Anything else?
I might just try elsewhere.
If I close my eyes, I can imagine I am back in my favorite tavern.
Baldur will be saved, and his mother avenged.